Coming to our fourth region, that is the Deccan Plateau. Okay, before we begin with the details of this region, I would like you to make this basic difference very clear between a plain and a plateau. What are they? Plains and plateaus are both flat areas of land. Okay, so the main difference between plain and plateau lies in their elevation or their height. A plateau is a flat land that is raised significantly above the ground, whereas plain is a flat, low-lying area. Okay. Now another thing, why plateaus are important, you should know this before studying the Deccan Plateau. Plateaus are very important because of the following reasons. They are storehouses of minerals and they have rich deposits of minerals with them. For example, the African Plateau has huge reserves of gold and silver. Chota Nagpur Plateau in India is famous for coal, iron and manganese deposits, etc. Now we are learning Deccan Plateau, so you should also know the interesting thing why Deccan Plateau is important for India. Okay, so it is important because it is rich in mineral resources and rivers. It also has waterfalls that helps in generation of hydroelectric power. It also has dense forest which are the home of many wild animals. Okay, now you would also like to know some other interesting facts, like the largest and highest plateau in the world is the Tibetan Plateau. It is also described as roof of the world. Then, which is the smallest one? The smallest one, it lies in India and it is Chota Nagpur Plateau. The name Chota gives you idea about it, okay, about the size of this plateau. Now it is also very interesting, children, to remember that Deccan Plateau is also known by one more name which is not given in your textbook, that is Peninsular Plateau. And the word Deccan means Dakshina in Sanskrit, or because it lies in the southern part of ancient India, we call it as Deccan. Now look at the map. The region between the east and the west coast of India tapers off to the south. Tapers means becomes narrower towards the end. This region has the Arabian Sea to its west, the Indian Ocean to its south, and the Bay of Bengal to its east. A region thus bound by sea on all the three sides is called a peninsula. Look at this brown part, we call it as a peninsula. A major part of the Indian peninsula is occupied by the Deccan Plateau. Now, we also have the mountain ranges of the Vindhya and Satpura, which are located to the north of the Deccan Plateau. The Sahyadri mountain ranges are to its west. They are also known as the Western Ghats. To the west of the Sahyadris is the coastal region of Konkan and Malabar. The mountains on the eastern side of the Deccan Plateau are known as the Eastern Ghats. Now, the Deccan Plateau has fertile land where many post-Harappan agrarian cultures flourished. Deccan Plateau was a part of the Maurya Empire, the largest in the ancient India. After the decline of the Maurya Empire too, several other kingdoms and smaller empires continued to flourish in this region. Coming to our next region, fifth one, the coastal regions. From the time of Harappan civilization, ancient India had trade relations with the western countries. Have a look at some countries which are shown on the map. This trade was carried on by sea. What is trade? Basically, it is buying and selling of goods and services. So, we had used sea routes from ancient time for trade. Therefore, India had developed contact and interaction with foreign cultures and people at the seaports. Later on, land routes came to be used for trade and transport, maybe due to certain changes in civilizations or lifestyles of the people's modes of transport and other things. But you should remember the importance of sea routes did not diminish or did not reduce. It also became the important route along with the land route.